the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. W.C. Fields, who said, "Never work with children or animals." I kind of wonder what he'd say about trying to talk after children and animals. So, the gospel this morning is essentially a bunch of people who think they know what they're doing going to a baby shop. The Magi come to Jerusalem prepared for a baby shower. They even brought presents for the parents, not the kid. They think that they understand what's going on. I mean, after all, we call them wise men, wise ones, magi, in the Gospels. We call them wise ones because we think they know what they're doing. They're wise enough to see that something has changed fundamentally, astrologically. This star that was there before is suddenly there, and it's a sign that something has changed. And through their many observations and all of their knowledge, they believe that it means that a new king has been born who is king of the Jews. And so they go to Jerusalem to talk to Herod, who obviously did not have any idea what was happening. Not to say that Herod doesn't have kids, they're just a bit older. And they come to Herod and say, "Congratulations! You brought presents for the baby." What baby? They think they know what they are doing, but they don't know everything. They find out very quickly. You see, they don't understand the political situation that's happening in this place that Rome calls Palestine. Herod is not Jewish. Herod is a king who has been put in power by Rome to be a vassal state, and Herod himself is from Judea, which is the region south of Israel and Judah. A region that's not traditionally part of Jewish homelands, a region that is and was always a bit in conflict with the Jewish people. And Herod has a bit of an inferiority complex about Judaism. He's trying to curry favor with them by rebuilding the temple, but at the same time, he can bring no opposition to his monarch, however much of a fig leaf it is for the Roman Empire to control the area. He gets power from it. And so, we're not changing anything. Not only do the wise men fail to understand the socio-political realities of what's going on here, as they show up in Jerusalem, they do not understand the cosmic change that is taking place, that God is enacting in this moment, in this time. God is doing something new. They've seen it in the skies, a new thing. And that is but a symbol of the new thing that God is doing in this child that has been born. My brother was in high school and I was in college. I would sometimes help him with schoolwork when he couldn't get my dad to do it when my mom was sleeping because she was nice. He would ask my help because I was in college, and luckily going to college in the same town that I grew up in. And he brought me a chemistry test one day. He was junior, I think, at this point. He brought me a chemistry test and said, "I don't know how I failed this test." Now, luckily, we had a teacher who was one of those teachers that if you failed the test, he would give you back the test and say, "If you could figure out what you did wrong and write an explanation about how you got around what the right answer is and all that stuff, bring it back and I'll give you a C instead of an F." And so he and I sat down at the table with his test, and he says, "Here's what I did." And he said, "This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong." And I pointed to the topmost thing. And I said, "Well, that's that way. You're going that way with this idea. And in fact, the This other way that you haven't thought of. And he looked at it. He stared at the text for a second and went, oh, that's what that means. And he suddenly wrote down 7 different steps because he understands organic chemistry in a way that I don't ever. And he went and fixed his test. He hadn't been able to conceive of the right direction because it was the first time he'd ever been confronted with it, but now he was able to grasp it and run with it. Once the wise ones understood the difference, not just sociopolitically, but somewhat cosmically. Oh, the star didn't stop when we got to Jerusalem. It kept going. We should keep going too. Once they understand that, they learn a new thing. They go a different direction, and they make to Bethlehem. And their world is changed by the ability to admit they don't know everything. That things aren't simple and clear-cut and black and white, and obviously a king is going to have a son who is the Messiah. That God is not going to do the same thing God has always done before. And being open to this new way of thinking, they're able to hear an angel who says to them, yeah, Herod's not real happy about this kid. Maybe you should talk to him. And they go by another road. That other road is not just the fact that they turn on the 405 and not 5. It's a different road entirely. T.S. Eliot, 20th century poet, playwright, author, wrote about the journey that these wise ones go on. And he finishes we return to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old dispensation. With an alien people touching their gods. This is all a long time ago, I remember, and I will do it again. Set this down, set this down. We'll be led all that way by birth and death. Certainly. We had evidence of that, no doubt. I had seen birth and death, but had thought that they were different. This birth was hard, but agony for us, like death, our own death. I should be glad of another death. When I was about 5, my father and I were walking home from his leather shop. My father was getting careers, one was running a leather shop. And I don't know if you know about my hometown, St. Helena, Montana, but a chunk of it, the oldest part of it, is in a bunch of gulches and goats, because it was mining town, a gold rush. And occasionally in the spring, when the rains finally showed up, they would show up in pools of water, refreshing little ponds like in today's psalm. They would show up in rock slides and landslides in the bellies of the gulches. And as we were walking home, we came around a corner on the most direct route and found that there had been one of these rock slides. And the road was blocked. And me, thinking I knew everything in my little 5-year-old mind, thought that we were stranded and we would never see our home or my mom or any of the other things ever again. And I was despondent. My father, seeing my sorrow and my catastrophe, knelt down, put his hands on my shoulders, and said, "There's another way home. It's okay." Now, that other way home, my father decided happened to be difficult and dangerous. And as I look back on it as a now 42-year-old with a kid of my own, I think, what was he thinking? But we made it. This other road was harder and certainly more treacherous. But got us to the place where we were going by another way. Even though I had thought to look for it. In fact, I followed the star finally to Bothell, having learned that they didn't know what they were doing necessarily. And that was okay. That was perfectly fine. God was there anyway. The star continued to burn. And they came and found the child and were overwhelmed by this new thing that God was doing. And they heard the words of an angel, "You must go another way," on a different